This episode of the Nocturnal Disney Podcast is brought to you by Palms and Parks. They are high-quality t-shirts and tank tops that have cool, fun designs that help show off your love for Disney in a unique and smart way. Visit them at palmsandparks.com and check out what their store has to offer. There's something there for everyone. Welcome, foolish listeners, to the Nocturnal Disney Podcast. I am your host, your show host. Is this show's time bar actually stretching? Or is it your imagination? And consider this dismaying observation. There's no skip or rewind button. Which offers this chilling challenge. To find a way out of the Nocturnal Disney Podcast.
I love it when I'm nasty.
This is the day your dreams come true.
Be prepared for sensational news.
Oh, milk my duds! It's Wreck-It Ralph!
And where do we fit?
Okay, fine, I'm cool, I'm fine.
I'm disinclined to acquiesce to your request. Means no.
But there's a new order now. Salmon, that's obviously salmon.
With their heads!
My friend, we are about to embark on the most odious, the most evil, the most diabolical scheme of my illustrious career.
But before the sun sets on her 16th birthday, she shall prick her finger on the spindle of a spinning wheel and die.
You are not leaving this tower! Ever!
Game, set, match.
Thank you for joining me for episode 8 of the Nocturnal Disney Podcast on July 14th, 2018. My name is Bryce. I appreciate you listening. If you want to join in on our discussion, you can find us on Facebook. Just search the Nocturnal Disney Podcast and join our little group. You can email me at nocturnaldisney@gmail.com, and you can say something quick to me on Twitter at Disney Nocturnal. You can also find me on Instagram at the Nocturnal Disney Podcast, all separated by underscores. I know I said that this episode was going to come out on Monday, but I ended up hurting my back really bad on Sunday night, and I slept from 6 p.m. to 8 a.m. on Monday and on Tuesday. So I figured by Wednesday, we should just hold off until the regular Saturday show. So I'm sorry, but tonight we're going to talk about Ant-Man and the Wasp and what's going on in theaters. We're going to talk about some changes that Disney made to its movie lineup. Some are understandable and others are very, very questionable. A quick bit of news out of the parks, and we're going to finish up with a talk about Toy Story Land. But for now, let's just jump into it. Good morning. I'm checking in with the Midnight Report. Let's fire away. So since we're going to talk about Toy Story Land last, let's open with the movie news that's going on. Ant-Man and the Wasp just came out on July 6th, and it's Marvel's 10th sequel movie. On its opening weekend, Ant-Man and the Wasp brought in $76 million on a $130 million budget. As of recording this show, worldwide totals put Ant-Man and the Wasp at $141 million. Great job. It hasn't quite made back all of its money because the way the movie theaters work, they get a cut of the box office, but it's its opening weekend, and it's a good movie, which is key in a movie making money. I've been to see it twice already, once in digital and once in Dolby and AMC. My God, if you get a chance to go see a movie in AMC Dolby Theater, do yourself a favor. It's an experience. It's insane. I liked it a lot. The point is, Ant-Man and the Wasp was a good movie, and I think Marvel Studios has another hit on its hands. It's not going to do as well as Infinity War, or even Black Panther really, but it is good, and people will enjoy it. And is there anything else that you can really ask from a movie except for just being good? I mean, you might think, well, it didn't make back its budget in the first weekend. It's a flop. Disney can't be happy with that. And I understand that reasoning, but Ant-Man and the Wasp actually made 35% more money than the original Ant-Man did on its opening weekend. So if you look at the trends and the trajectory of the MCU as a whole, with the exception of Age of Ultron, every single Marvel sequel has made more money on opening weekend than the movie that came out before it. So Winter Soldier made more money than the first Avenger, and Civil War made more money on opening weekend than Winter Soldier. That's outstanding. This is also Marvel's 20th #1 movie. It's incredible. This also speaks to that ridiculous thought of superhero fatigue. DC put out film after film after film that was divisive, and people bailed on it. That's not superhero fatigue. In general, people gave up on a universe, but Marvel is constantly putting out quality films that have depth and personality, and people are going out to see them in droves. Speculation is always fun, and occasionally Disney will show a slate of movies and one of the dates is held with a to be determined, or in this case, unnamed live-action fairy tale. People hear that, and some of the most fun you can have online is speculating what kind of movie it's going to be. Disney did scrap Gigantic. Maybe they're making a live-action Jack and the Beanstalk. Oh, maybe it's a Little Red Riding Hood movie. I'd love to see how scary they can make the wolf. You know, we haven't heard too much from the Little Mermaid remake. Maybe that's just kind of flown under everyone's radar and it's opening up then. And sometimes the speculation is far more fun than the actual reveal. Because when you make the reveal, do you know what you take away? Hope. Hope that it may actually be a movie you're interested in or even want. So in May 2020, I'm going to have to deal with the fact that Maleficent 2 is actually going to be hitting theaters. Here's the thing. It's no secret. I hate that first movie. I detest that first movie. I think it's awful. Aside from the visuals and Angelina Jolie's acting, the whole thing is just hot garbage. And I'll honestly voice my opinion all the way up to the movie. If a trailer comes out and it looks good, I'll say so. If it continues down that slippery trash chute that the first one did, I'm going to say that too. But when it comes out, I'm going to want the movie to be good. I don't want a bad movie. I don't want to waste 2 hours of my life on garbage just so I can come out and say, aha, you see? I told you, it sucks. I want to be able to come out of the theater going, oh, I can't believe it. It was actually good. I can't believe I liked that. So, I guess we'll see. Now, Marvel has just announced a live-action movie coming out in February of 2021. And guess what? We're still in the speculation stage. Oh, thank God. A lot of people are saying it's going to be the Black Panther sequel since Black Panther was the last movie to come out in February. But I don't think that's enough evidence. I think that's kind of ridiculous. I actually think it's going to be the Black Widow movie that everyone's been asking for. There's been movement on it, and I think Black Panther had a certain amount of risk, right? That the studio would have to take again if they made a Black Widow movie with Scarlett Johansson. The Black Widow movie actually does have a director. They just hired her on. Her name is Kate Shortland. She's done a few TV things. You know, she did a TV series called The Secret Life of Us, a TV movie called The Silence, a movie called Lore, and another movie called The Berlin Syndrome. I've seen none of these movies, not a single one, but Marvel always gets the best of the best when it comes to directors. I mean, look at Black Panther, Guardians of the Galaxy, right? James Gunn had to direct that movie very, very well because he had to work with Dave Bautista, who, by his own admission, is not the best of actors, right? But Drax shines in that movie. A lot of it is Bautista, sure, but James Gunn definitely played a big role in that as well. Honestly, I'm not overly excited for a Black Widow movie. She's never been my favorite character in the MCU. I thought she worked really well as a side character like she is in Iron Man 2 or in Captain America Winter Soldier. But, you know, then again, she works fine in Avengers and she was great in Civil War, so I don't know. We'll have to see. I guess I'm just going to have to trust Marvel that they know that they can make a good movie, so here we go. Disney went through this week and rearranged a bunch of stuff. For instance, Indiana Jones 5, Harrison's Redemption. It's set to come out on July 8th, 2020. At least it was. It's not anymore. It's going to come out on July 9th, 2021. And it stars Harrison Ford. To the guy's credit, he looked great in The Force Awakens. But if the movie's going to be pushed back to 2021, odds are it'll be filmed in early 2020. He's 75 now. He'd be right about 77, depending upon when they decided to film, and then he'd be almost 79 when the movie finally came out. It's already been pushed back a few times. I mean, what are the odds that Lucasfilm is just trying to kind of age out Harrison Ford? I doubt that they are, but how much longer can Harrison Ford be the action star? Are they going to have Dr. Jones finally be the old professor and have him kind of mentoring a younger kid again? They did that in The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and it was awful. To be fair, the whole movie was pretty bad, but that wasn't even the best part of that movie. So, I don't know. I think what they should do is do what they do with James Bond, and just every few years, here's a new one. Don't mention it, don't talk about it. Here's a new Indiana Jones. I mean, Indiana Jones needs to be punching Nazis in the face. And it doesn't really work when the Nazis stay young and Indiana Jones goes from 20 to 70. That doesn't work. But I think that could be a good way to keep the franchise alive and interesting. Ralph Breaks the Internet, Wreck-It Ralph 2. That's a movie title. That's a clunky movie title. That's a bad and redundant movie title. And Disney finally recognized that and changed it. It's now just Ralph Breaks the Internet. Perfect. Do yourself a favor, though, and learn from the mistakes of All You Need Is Kill. Wait, no, I mean Edge of Tomorrow. Right? No, I mean Live, Die, Repeat. Forget it. The point is, sometimes changes need to be made, and sometimes changes are made for the sake of making changes, and that gets confusing and convoluted for no apparent reason. Make the one change and let it lie. Josh Cooley, I don't know. I'm sorry if you ever listen to this, I can't pronounce your name, but he's the director of George and AJ and Riley's First Date, and he's also the director of Toy Story 4. He just tweeted out a big sign of sticky notes in the shape of a 4 with the caption, June 21st, 2019. That's a pretty cool way to make an announcement. I don't know if they'll keep that sign around, but I think they should because it's really, really cool. It's all done in sticky notes and it's really impressive. Like I said, he tweeted out the picture, so it's on his Twitter page, but I'll put it up on my Instagram account if you ever want to take a look at it. Emily Blunt and Lin-Manuel Miranda were going to bring Mary Poppins into theaters on December 25th, 2018. 5 days or so after a complete litany of other big movies hit. On December 14th, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse opens, right? Then, on the 21st, Watson and Holmes comes out. That's a John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell movie. Alita Battle Angel comes out. Bumblebee and Aquaman all come out on the same day. Disney saw these 4 big films coming out on the same weekend, chasing relatively the same audience, and they say, you know what? Christmas isn't a good day for movies to come out. It is. Instead of opening our movie on the 25th after the cyclone of these other movies passes, let's open Mary Poppins on the 19th and see if she blows away like the other nannies in the first film. Are you crazy? Why? Why would you do this? Because you wanted to show Warner Brothers, 21st Century Fox, Sony, and Paramount that you're not afraid of them? That's ridiculous. And as far as I can tell, there is nothing coming out on Christmas this year. You have zero competition, aside from an unnamed WB event film, which, I mean, whatever that is, it could be anything. Movies are a business, and I don't work in the movie industry, so maybe there's something there that I just don't see, but if there is, I really don't see it. I don't see any upside to this at all. Now, there is one rumor going around, and it makes this a little bit better of a decision, is that Aquaman may be moving. And if it moves either forward or backward, it doesn't matter. It'll still free up a little bit of money on that weekend for Mary Poppins to get more. But why did you not wait just a couple more days. Even if Aquaman is moving, it still doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. They didn't say when exactly, but Disney did come out and say that they're going to be putting an end to a Bugs Land out in Disneyland in California. And they're actually going to be changing it over to a Marvel Superheroes Land. That's pretty cool, and honestly a no-brainer. A Bugs Land opened in 2002, and the consensus around that area is that it looks really pretty, but the rides kind of suck. They're for little kids, and even by that definition, very little kids who age out of the area really rapidly. And I was doing some research online and I saw them referred to as carnival rides that have been dressed up. And that doesn't sound like Disney's legendary attention to detail, does it? It sounds rough. Now compare that with Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, which is the highest rated attraction at Disneyland since it opened in 2017. That had to be a load off Disney's mind, right? When you have an attraction as loved as the Twilight Zone's Tower of Terror, and you feel the need to change it to anything else, there is the possibility of some major backlash. And there was a lot of backlash before that ride actually opened, and now look at it. It's the highest rated ride in Disneyland. It's hard to argue those results. And they announced that the new Marvel Land is going to be opening in 2020. It's just about that time again to celebrate Christmas. It's July. Be that as it may, Disney said that Joy Through the World Holidays is coming back to Hollywood Studios. And I'm mixed on this. The lights are pretty, and the way they do the projection up on the Tower of Terror is really cool. I mean, anytime they've done that, I've loved it. Magic Kingdom during the fireworks, love that. Animal Kingdom up on the Tree of Life, I think that is incredible. And it does look really, really cool here on the Tower of Terror, but it's the Tower of Terror. It's supposed to be creepy and it's got a vibe to it, and I feel like the lights and the projections kind of destroy that vibe. But then again, where else would you put it? In Hollywood Studios. So, I don't know. I'm mixed. I don't particularly like it. I don't hate it, but I would if it closed down Tower of Terror. If that were the case, I'd say absolutely not, but it doesn't, so it's fine. And it's actually going to be back on November 8th.
And now, our feature presentation.
All right, that's it. All done for this week. Nothing else to talk about here. Unless you wanted to talk about... you do? Oh, great. Never mind then. Let's talk about Toy Story Land. I'll tell you guys my experience, my expectations, and I'll talk about the attractions that were there, okay? So, last year I went to the opening day of Pandora, the World of Avatar Animal Kingdom, and it was an unholy nightmare. All right, I'm going to set the scene for you a little bit. I need to start, though, the night before, right? So the night before, I had dinner at this hibachi grill, and I went there at like 10:30 at night. And I ate a lot, I was full, but I mean, you know, it doesn't give you that, oh dear God, I'm about to explode type of full, right? I have insomnia, so I didn't sleep the night before either. And as I'm driving up there, I threw my phone on the charger, but the butt end of the USB cable wasn't connected fully to my car, so it didn't charge. So I'm walking into Animal Kingdom at 9 a.m. with a phone that's at 20%, and at that point, I walked right into a 2-hour line to get into the land. The line started at the Island Mercantile, wrapped all the way back to the entrance of the park, and back up to the Island Mercantile. It did like a real tight serpentine on the other side of the store, and then a cast member would let you in as other guests left Pandora. I was so excited to be in the land, I jumped right online for the Flight of Passage, and that was a 5-hour wait. Now, I got really lucky because when I got back to the entrance of the park, I asked the guy in front of me to hold my spot in line while I went to the bathroom. But for 7 hours, I was in line to experience one attraction with no sleep for over 24 hours, no food for 18 hours, and no phone to occupy my mind. It was awful. The ride was absolutely incredible, and I loved every single second of it, but the wait was abysmal. So I told you that to explain why it was that I prepared the way I did for Toy Story Land. Now, granted, I went on the second weekend it opened, but Flight of Passage still regularly has over 200-minute wait lines, and that is ridiculous. So I figured Toy Story Land would be about the same. So the night before, me and Jamie went to St. Pete and stayed at her aunt and uncle's house, so I have my drive time right off the bat. Boom. Awesome. I went to Walmart, I got a box of Pop-Tarts, I got a box of Slim Jims, 3 boxes of those orange crackers with a peanut butter filling, delicious. And I got a bag of Goldfish, a bag of Toll House cookies, 2 packs of 15 water bottles, and a pack of 12 orange Gatorades. I wanted to make sure I had whatever I needed for those long 5-hour waits. Remember my phone died in Pandora? Not to worry. I came with a full phone and an external battery so I could charge my phone if necessary, and a solar-powered battery charger. I brought my Game Boy so I could play that if my phone was about to die. I also made sure I got as much sleep as I could the night before, and, top everything off, got a couple energy drinks. Some may say I was overprepared, but luck favors the prepared, darling. I got to Hollywood Studios at 7 in the morning to an empty line, which I was happy about, but, where's the line? I was the first one in line. There were a few people in the parks before I got in because of extra magic hours, so when I got into Toy Story Land, there was a 20-minute wait for Slinky Dog Dash. I jumped on that real quick, but before I get into that, I just want to talk about the land itself and the way it looked. It's pretty cool. The whole concept of it is that you're a toy walking around Andy's backyard and all the toys have a festival going on. It's cool because the lamps are Tinker toys and they have all the little markings on them. Like the wood pieces actually say, made with real wood. That's really cool. They have large Christmas lights running between the Tinker toys too, so that's really fun. The look of the area is very similar to Toy Story Mania. It's like Toy Story Mania was like a prototype for this whole land. And that is not a bad thing. The bathroom is cool. It looks like it's built out of these real colorful wood blocks. And it's awesome to see the big statues of the Toy Story toys like Buzz and Woody. But it's also a little weird because there's a Buzz Lightyear and Woody and Jessie meet and greet almost in the shadows of the big statues. You can almost get a picture of yourself with Buzz with a giant Buzz Lightyear in the background. The design of this area is really cute. It's fun. It looks like something toys would actually put together. The worst thing about this area's design, though, is there is about 5 square feet of shade in the entire area outside the ride queues. I was there until 11:30 that Saturday, and the entire time it was north of 95 degrees because there is nothing to block the sun. They could easily run fabric between the Tinker Toy lampposts or just put up sails like they do in Epcot or something like that to make it a little less like an arid desert and more like a welcoming area in a theme park. Toy Story Land was not made with me in mind, and that's fine. In fact, this area is Hollywood Studios' version of like Storybook Circus in Magic Kingdom, I actually think that it's a very appropriate comparison. There's a heavy slant towards the children. You have your kiddie roller coaster and Barnstormer and Slinky Dog Dash, and you have your obligatory spinning rides with Dumbo and Alien Swirling Saucers. And I think that's really going to be the consensus on Toy Story Land. It's neat and it's cute, but it doesn't live up to an area like New Fantasyland, and Pandora is on a whole nother level when it comes to theme park expansions. So I don't think it's a fair comparison to compare Toy Story Land to Pandora, but it was the last expansion to open, so it just kind of happens naturally. I think Star Wars Edge of the Galaxy will be more along the lines of Pandora with more of an older slant. And don't get me wrong, there is nothing wrong with Toy Story Land being more for kids at all. In fact, if any park needed an area like that, it was Hollywood Studios. I mean, they had the Disney Junior area? Or is it a show? I really don't know. I've never actually done it, so I have no idea what it actually is. You had the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids playground, and that got taken away when they're putting in Star Wars Land. They have Little Mermaid, the Beauty and the Beast show, the Frozen show, but when the majority of your park caters more for the older crowd, yeah, an area for the younger kids is acceptable, especially with Star Wars right around the corner. Now let's talk about the rides real quick. Slinky Dog Dash is a roller coaster where you sit in the springs of Slink and ride through the backyard. It's a cute little ride. The queue line is pretty cute. You're walking through the box that this racetrack set came in. It's a really cool idea. I thought it was fun. There's a few bank turns in the track, a fairly tall hill, and it actually has a little booster about halfway through that's pretty fun. And like I said, I'd compare it thrill-wise to something like Barnstormer. It's not a baby coaster like Flight of the Hippogriff over at Islands of Adventure, but I'd take like a 5 or 6-year-old on it. Then there's Alien Swirling Saucers. I said I waited in line for Slinky Dog Dash for 20 minutes right when it opened, and I thought that was really good. Not a terribly fast line where I ran through everything, but not a painful slog like Pandora, right? For Alien Swirling Saucer, I waited about 5 minutes, and I got off the ride, and I thought, yeah, that's the correct wait time. So the idea is you're being drugged behind the spaceship of one of those Pizza Planet aliens, and whenever he makes a quote-unquote sharp turn, you in the cargo go swinging out to the left or the right. And it's set up with like this figure 8 pattern situation where you get passed off from one plate to the other when the cart touches the new plate, and a 3 or 4-year-old would love it. It rattles a lot. I thought it was going to rattle me into oblivion. The best way I can think to describe it is like this. The artificial rattle that's happening on Big Thunder Mountain Railroad at the beginning when you're climbing the shaft, it's like that, but real. I don't think it's on purpose either. Then there's Toy Story Mania. It's the exact same ride, but with one big upgrade. Mr. Potato Head's back. He's in the line that you take from Toy Story Land. Now, I don't know if he's in the line when you come in from Pixar Place or not. Or I don't even know if that place is open anymore. Honestly, with the Buzz and Woody meet and greets being in the open in Toy Story Land, there's really nothing else back there anymore. And on the topic of meet and greets, I don't know if this is going to continue or not, but they had the Green Army men out, walking around, talking to people, and taking pictures. No lines. I saw a family get their photo with the Green Army men while standing in line to meet Woody and Jessie. That makes me very happy because I've heard that that's how it's done out in Disneyland, but I've never got to experience that because I've never been there. I've only been in Florida and it's never been like that, as far as I know anyway. On the second week of being open, I was able to practically run through Toy Story Land. That's doing Slinky Dog Dash twice, Alien Swirling Saucers once, Toy Story Mania once, going to the bathroom, meeting Woody and Jessie, sitting down and eating some crackers, and buying a souvenir cup, and I left the area by 11:30 in the morning. I did not need all the supplies in my backpack. Because the area was fairly quiet. As of recording this on a Friday night, Slinky Dog Dash is at 80 minutes, and Toy Story Mania and Alien Swirling Saucers are both at 30. Those are more than reasonable wait times for those rides. Slinky Dog Dash is a little high, but still, it's no 5 hours. I think it's worth checking out, at least once. Are you going to spend a lot of time there as an adult? No, probably not. But if you have a younger kid, I think they'll really love it. That's the end. For this week, anyway. I want to thank you all for listening, and you can find me on iTunes, YouTube, Twitter, Tumblr, and SoundCloud. You can also find me on the DigiFox Studios network, the Fox Playbox. Type in foxplaybox.com, and you can find all the shows in our network. If you would be so kind as to like, favorite, and subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it. It does help me get up through the ranks so more people can find my show. Don't forget to head over to my Facebook page or my Instagram page and participate in this week's Disney Duel, which is going to be, yes, I want a Black Widow movie, or no, I don't want a Black Widow movie. Last week's challengers were mine and Klein's respective number ones. Presto versus the Blue Umbrella. And with a score of 26-16, Presto magics away the Blue Umbrella and takes the win. Sorry, Klein. And this is usually where I would end the show. But I wanted to add something new to the show this week. In Disney World, you can do this thing called hidden Mickey hunting. And it's not sanctioned by anybody or anything like that, but it's fun. It's always fun to be looking around and see a little Mickey just hidden, tucked away somewhere. You don't know if you're the only person who's seen that or the millionth person to see it. So when I was up there this past weekend, I went through, I found a bunch of them, and what I want to do is add a hint to one hidden Mickey a week to the end of my show. And then if any of you guys find the hidden Mickey from the clue, take a picture of it and tag me on Instagram. So here's the first clue to the first hidden Mickey that we're going to do. Here we go. Mickey and Pooh are the best of friends, and this stone-made Mickey's not at the end. Inside Sandra's tree, now that's where it be. If you're an adult, you may have to bend. So if you find the hidden Mickey from that clue, like I said, snap a picture of it, put it up on Instagram, tag me in it, and that way I'll know that I'm helping somebody out. And that is going to do it for tonight. Thank you so much for listening, and until next Saturday, this is Bryce saying have a good night, and may all your endings be happy. Well, you know the rest.